So one of the things that I've been very fond of doing lately is taking, comments from you guys that I see on my videos and turning them into videos and tutorials that I can, help you guys with, because there's a lot of times where I see questions in my comments and I see them over and over and over again, especially when it comes to something like what we're going to do today. So many comments have revolved around how to make your own logo for Team Builder and, make your own assets and logos and custom logos and layers and things like that. That's what I want to show you guys how to do today, and we're going to be doing it with a free online tool called Photopea. And as you can see here, I have it up on the screen. This is what you do. You just literally, you could Google Photopea, Photopea. You could Google that, or you could just go to photopea.com and it should bring you straight to this screen right here. And honestly, the best way I can describe this is really just being basically Photoshop online. It's got so many of the exact same tools that you would find in Photoshop, all right in this one free program, and it is actually free. I'm using it. As you guys can see right here, everything I'm going to be doing today is on the free version of this tool. So first things first, no matter whether you're working with an existing image or, going to make your own, image or logo or text, you're going to go to New Project, okay? I'm going to click New Project right here, and it's going to immediately bring us to this screen where, it's going to allow us to either use a template, which we don't want to do, or just make our own workspace, our own artboard, if you will. So what we're going to do is I am going to go up here, and you can give it a name. We'll just say, I'll just call it Team Builder Logo, right? And then what we're going to do, though, is we're going to change this from pixels to inches. And I'm going to do this for the sake of making it 512 kilobytes or less, because that's what we want. We want it to be 512 or less, right? And as you can see, the templates even change when you change the size over here. Now, I'm also going to change the DPI to 250. Now, it's gonna mess with the width and the height, but we can just change that back. And as a matter of fact, just save yourself some time. You might want to just put in the DPI first. And all that is telling us how many pixels per inch we're getting. And that's basically the resolution. So how clear the image is going to be for us, right? Which is very, very good if if you want good clarity with your images. I'm going to put it at 250 instead of 300 because I do want it to stay under 512 kilobytes. With text and things like that, I mean, you could literally probably go 10 by 10 with the width and height, and you could probably go at least 300 with the DPI. 300 is a good, base for, really high resolution imagery. But with text, it's not going to be that large of a file size. There are other types of files that I'll show you in a second that will be a bit larger, but we'll start off like this. I think this is a good starting point. We hit create and boom, it brings us straight into our file. First thing I'm going to do here is go to this little zoom tool here. It looks like a little magnifying glass, and just zoom in a bit. And I just did that by clicking and holding and then going back and forth like on my desk, on my mouse pad. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to go over here to my layers panel, and I want to go here where it says background. I want to unlock this background by just clicking on the little lock, and I want to hide it. Now, these little eyeballs here will tell you whether or not what you have, what you have in these layers will show up on your artboard. So if I click this, it gets rid of that white background, and what you'll see here is a checkered background. Whenever you see this checkered background, this is what we call an alpha channel. An alpha channel just means that whatever you see here in this checkered area will not show up in your image, okay? Now, since we want to get a logo that we can work with and bring into Team Builder, found this logo online. I just went on to Google Images and I found a logo that I thought looked cool, and it's like, it's like an eagle, like an eagle's head, right? So this is what we're going to have to work with. Now, what we want to do is we want to isolate this logo, and we can make so many different changes to it after we've isolated it. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up, and you're going to see this thing here called the Magic Wand tool. I'll go through a lot of these tools later, but a lot of the tools that you're going to want to use the most, obviously the Move tool, which we use just to move things around. You can also use it to resize things. So like if you just take it by the corners or, by the top or the bottom, any of these little boxes that you see, you can resize the image using them and then just hit the check or the X, depending on if you like the transformation you made. If you don't see these little boxes, this bounding box around the image, go up here where it says transform controls. Just make sure that that is checked. If you have that checked, you will see the controls so that you can actually, manipulate the image and resize it as you see fit. Holding shift will allow you to, actually resize it out of proportion, right? If I let go of shift, it'll snap right back to proportion. And if I don't want to resize it, I can just hit the X and boom, it'll go right back to the way that it was. But the lasso select, which is just basically taking the selection tool, but making your own selection by, just drawing on the artboard here. The magic wand tool, and if you hold down, you'll also see other options. If you just hold down left click on your mouse, you'll see magic wand, quick selection, and object selection. That's what we're going to be using right now. The crop tool is here, the eyedropper tool. A lot of these tools are useful, but the object selection tool is the one we want right now. Now, first things first, we can't work with this image until we've rasterized it. Another thing you'll see here, over here, if you just look, it's got like this weird name that it came from the website like this. If I double click the name, I can just rename it. I'll just call it Eagle, right? And now if you double click outside of the name, right? If I double click the name where it's text, it'll let me edit the text. But if I double click outside of that, it'll bring up a layer styles box, right? We don't want that yet. We will want it at some point, but we don't want it yet. So what we want to do here though is we want to right click this, and the only options you're really going to be working with when you right click over in this layers panel here is rasterize the layer and rasterize the layer style. But I just want to show you the things that you're going to need for putting an image into Team Builder and using it for logos and different assets and things like that. So all we want to do is rasterize this so that we can work with this image unconstrained. We want to be able to just work with the entire image. So now it's rasterized and boom, we are ready to work with it. So we've got the object selection tool selected up here from the tools. And then now we're just going to make a box around this eagle. And we're going to be relying on Photopea to know what we want to select at this point. And boom, as you can see, what we call them marching ants in Photoshop, but they're not marching here. So they're just basically ants, I guess, right? There's just dotted lines that go around the image, right? And it's pretty accurate for the most part. It's a little more accurate in Photoshop, but it is accurate here as well. Now, we've selected this entire eagle because you can see the dotted lines around the eagle's head. But what we want to do is we want to get rid of everything that's on the outside of the eagle. So what you're going to do here, you're just going to come up here to select, and then you're going to click inverse. You could also do Shift Command I or Shift Control I if you're on a Windows computer as a shortcut. But you can just go up here, select inverse, and boom, we've selected the inverse. Now if we just hit delete, backspace, boom, everything around that eagle's head is gone. And if you click outside anywhere here with the selection tool, this rectangular selection tool or marquee selection tool, whatever you want to call it, it will deselect everything. And now you can see, we go to the move tool. Now, if you have this where your bounding box goes all the way out here like this, that means that there is still some more of this image that we got to get rid of, right? Just select your selection tool, and as you can see, this line out here that was beyond the artboard that we didn't actually get a chance to delete, just select it, hit delete, and boom. Now, if we go back to the move tool, you can see it is right around the eagle's head. That just means if the box is ever bigger, that means that there is more out here that we have to delete, and I will show you exactly how to do that with another image. So now that we've got the eagle's head selected, we can actually resize it. We can do whatever we want with it. Now, of course, as you're resizing it, it might look a little choppy, right? It might look pixelated and all that, but as soon as you've resized it and then you hit the checkbox, it will, it'll look a little bit better, right? But we don't want to resize it for now. What I want to do is I want to show you, because you might be asking me like, hey, Steve, what if I don't like this little, this little part under here? What if I just want it to be streamlined, like, the beak to be streamlined? I'm going to show you how to do those things. And again, these methods that I'm showing you will work with any image that you bring into Photopea. So just keep these methods in mind. It's just these techniques that you can use for literally any photo that you bring in. So another tool that's going to be your best friend is right here, this pen tool, right? Reason being is there's a lot of different types of the pen tool, but you just want the regular pen tool, and I'm going to show you why. If we've got our eagle image selected over here in the layers panel, we can use, bear with me, it's a little laggy because it is, I am at the mercy of, an online tool at this point. But as you can see, we can actually make a selection based on using this pen tool. So like, let's say if I wanted to get rid of this, this area below the eagle's beak here, obviously using the magic wand tool wouldn't work, because if I went to the magic wand tool and selected this, as you can see, it's going to select the entire black area, right? Because the magic wand tool wants to select an entire area based on a color. It usually is based on a color or a color very close to that color, right? So we don't want that. We want to select just that small area under the beak there. So back to the pen tool, and what we're going to do is we are going to take the pen tool, we're going to click here, anywhere here, and then we're going to come over here, click again and hold, and then we are going to pull, because then it's going to give us a curve. It is going to give us like an angle here, right? Now we want to curve it so that it goes right about to where it looks like it's fine, right? Like, looks good to us. Then we want to come around and just get this whole thing in this area, and then we close it off by clicking back on where we started, right? Now, if we right click here, we can actually choose make selection and then just click OK. And boom, it is a selection now. So now if we hit delete, as you can see, it's gone. And that right there is how you can just take certain parts of your image and get rid of them if you'd like. Now you see that there's this little bump under here from the fact that I didn't, I wasn't very careful with the way I did the pen tool. You can be a lot more careful with it, but I will show you a very, very good method for getting rid of that. So I'm going to zoom in on this here. Don't mind the fact that it's pixelated. It's only pixelated because of the fact that we are zoomed so far in. Now, one of my favorite Photoshop tools is a tool I'm about to show you right now. It will help you so much with just little edits that you might need to make. If you go over here to this little thing that almost looks like a droplet, it's called the blur tool, and then you hold it, you're going to have other options here. Sharpen tool and the smudge tool. Go to the smudge tool. Right now, if you want to resize this brush, the brush size that we have here, all you have to do is look at your keyboard and you'll have these little brackets right under the delete button. I'll put it up on the screen so you guys know what buttons I'm talking, what keys I'm talking about on the keyboard. If you just click the left bracket, it'll go down in size. Click the right bracket, it will go up in size. Okay, we're gonna go down a little bit, and then now watch what's gonna happen here. If I, oops. It will remind you that you have to select the layer. We got to make sure our eagle layer is selected. Now we've got it selected. Now, watch this. I am just going to use the smudge tool to just smudge that part up and clean it up a little bit, right? Now, another thing that you may want to do, you may notice that as I'm actually pushing this with the smudge tool, it is giving me this kind of like soft edge here. Now, I'm going to hit Command Z or Control Z if you're on Windows, and I'm going to undo that smudge that I just did. If I go up here, though, however, to this where it says Strength, if I click on strength, I'm going to bump this all the way up from 50 to 100. Another thing you want to keep an eye on too is your brush. It'll say size and hardness. You want your hardness to be at 100 for what we're doing right now. And now, as you can see, as I use the smudge tool, it's not making it look as much like a smudge. It's making it, it's giving me a more sharp line here. And again, bear with me. It is a little laggy for some reason. But as you can see, as I use it, it is going to clean up that little bump that we had underneath, just from using the pen tool. And then, I just make it, just get it to where I think it's perfect. Go back to the zoom tool and then zoom back out. And then voila, as you can see. Now, again, none of these things have to be necessarily 100% perfect unless you want them to be. Like, for instance, how up here we've got, we had the object selection tool didn't give us a perfect line up here. All you'd have to do is use this rectangular selection tool, select all of this. You want to make sure you got all of it selected here. Now that we've got that selected, if we hit delete, you will see now we've got a sharp line across the top there. And again, I know I'm showing you with this eagle image, but this type of thing, this applies to any image that you might bring into Photopea. Now, I want to show you another method for just getting the eagle head, the way, without using the object selection tool. So I'm going to go to this eyeball right here and hide the eagle, and I'm going to bring in the same image again. Hit the check mark so it knows that, this is what we want. And now I'm going to go, instead of the object selection tool, I'm going to select the magic wand tool. Now, since all around the eagle's head is the same color, which it won't always be like this, but if it is, if we just rasterize this again by right-clicking and hitting rasterize, and then use the magic wand tool to select that color, now, all of a sudden, as soon as we hit delete, boom, as you can see, we've gotten the exact same result as before, and you've got the clean eagle head. It actually looks even cleaner, all things considered. Now, another thing we can do with this image is we can actually change up the colors. Let's just say, hypothetically, you wanted the beak to be a different color. If we use this magic wand tool up here, right, we're going to use the same magic wand tool as before, and let's say we want to just change the color. I don't know, why you would, but if you did, you can. So you select all the yellow in there, right? And if you have a solid color like this, it will select all the yellow. But if it doesn't select everything in there, let's say it's like an image that has a gradient or it's got some opacity, something like that, you just hold down shift and keep clicking until you've got everything in the area selected that you want selected. So now that we've got our yellow area selected, we're just going to right click, and then we'll go down here to fill, and then where you see fill, you're going to go down to custom, and then that is going to give you this box that has, it's just a black box, but if you click it, then you have your color picker, and then at this point, we can literally pick any color we want. So let's just say, I'm going to make it gray, but I just want to show you what it would look like if you chose like a blue color, right? So we're going to go with that. Then once we've got our custom color, we can hit OK, and there you go. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that there will be a little bit of yellow around the outsides. I'm going to show you exactly how to fix that. Now, I'm going to undo what I just did, right? Because I just want to show you another method for how you can actually change this color. Now that we're zoomed in, you can actually see that there are some like lighter yellows around the edges, and that's why the magic wand tool didn't get everything. It only got the pixels that were this type of yellow. So the other method to changing the color of this is, as long as you've got your layer selected over here, we've got the eagle selected, we're going to go now to image, adjustments, and we're going to go to replace color. So the first thing we want to do is where it says hue, we want to pick the color that we want to replace. So you're going to go here to this yellow, we're going to press OK, and then we can start actually selecting different colors here, right? All we have to do is change this bar here, and it'll give us all of these different colors. And not only that, but let's say I get over here to this let's see where we go. Let's see if we get, all right, we're over here at this bluish color, but I don't want it to be that type of blue. You can also play with the saturation. Let's say we want to desaturate it a bit, and we want to make it lighter or darker. You just go to the lightness, and we can make it lighter, we can make it darker. Now you still do see that yellow around the outsides. What you can do to fix that is, if you see this fuzziness here, all you have to do is pull this bar up, and that will start to get rid of that yellow on the outside. And you want to get it to about the point where it doesn't actually start bleeding in to other colors on your image. And, you know, again, it doesn't look perfect, but let's just say this teal is the color that I wanted. We'll make it a little bit lighter, just so it, you know, you guys can see what we're dealing with here. If we hit OK, now you can still see that yellow a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, when we zoom out, it literally looks perfect from a distance, right? So that is a good way to get your colors to the way you want them to be without losing, you know, any quality. Now, another thing you may notice on some of your images, and this is just like a small minor detail, but I do want to show you. First, select the zoom tool and then zoom in to these edges here. Now, you might see some of the, you know, leftover color from the background. What you can do if you want to get rid of that, which in most cases you won't even notice it, but if you want to get rid of that, if you select the magic wand tool, you do have to go through it. It is a bit tedious, but you can select these one by one and start deleting them, right? Another thing you could do if you didn't want to do it that way is you could go down here, select this mask tool right here, right? Now, once you added that mask, you're going to see this white area here, and that is what you're going to want to actually take your paintbrush tool, and that's what we're going to color on to actually get rid of certain areas, and we're going to reduce the size of our brush here. Now, if we select, we'll flip these around so that we have black selected. Black is what's going to get rid of parts of the mask. White would bring back parts of the mask. So we reduce the size of the brush, and then if you just lightly paint on the edges of this, you will see that you will get rid of that line. So there we go. We got rid of it. Now, the same rules apply to a mask brush as they would just a normal brush. If you are on a mask layer and you use either a white or black brush, or you could use gray, right? If you didn't want to fully delete something, but you wanted to make it, you know, change the opacity a bit, you could use gray, which I'll show you in a second. But again, like I was saying, the same brush rules apply. If you go up here to your brush, you can change the hardness so that, you're getting rid of areas, but you're leaving a softer edge, and of course, change the size as well. Now, using this mask, I can literally get rid of any areas of this with the black, but if I go back and use the white, so if I flip this over to white, now that is I can paint over with the white and bring any areas that I want back. Now, also, like I was saying, if you were to go to this and use the color picker and we go to a gray color somewhere in the middle, right? Now, you'll see it will get rid of it, but it won't get rid of the entire thing because this is just painting in gray. It's only painting part of it. So, again, like I said, I'll undo that. But black will get rid of things entirely. White will bring them back. And then any of the grays in between will give you kind of almost what would be the equivalent of an opacity mask at that point. It would basically give you like something that would look see-through or transparent. Now, before we move on to another image, I will show you one more thing with this eagle head that you can do with any type of image, any image that you have whatsoever. If we go over to the eagle in the layers here, right, we double click, it is going to give us layer styles. Now, the first thing that we can do is we can add a stroke to this. There are so many different things that you can do to this, but the first thing I want to show you is how you can add a stroke, right? So if we go to the stroke, let's say we want to add a stroke, and let's say we want it to be white, right? We go to a white stroke, and then we can change the color of the stroke here, obviously, like you just saw me do. Any color you want to add, you can add it, but we're just going to go with a white stroke for now. Click OK. Now, I just want to show you, you can actually make a gradient stroke if you wanted to. So, like, if you wanted the stroke to be, you know, a gradient, which I know many of you know what a gradient is. On this side, it would be black. On this side, it would be white. But you could make it any colors in between. You could make it, you know, go from red to blue. You could make it go from red to burgundy, like a darker red. You could do anything. You can make it a radial gradient. There are so many things that you can do with this. You know, just get in here and play around with it. But you can do that. You can even do a pattern stroke if you had a certain pattern that you wanted to add in here, you know, and you can add patterns to Photopea, whatever it's called, the same way you can Photoshop, and use them for strokes, fills, and whatever, you know, you might want to use them for. But that's something that I would get into in a later tutorial, because this is more for, you know, what you want to do with your logos. But I just wanted to show you that you can do that. So we'll go back to the white, and then now if we go to size, we can adjust the size of this. So let's say I wanted a thick stroke around this. Boom, there you go. Now, let's say hypothetically we are happy with the changes that we made. We want to scale this up a little bit, and then you want to make sure you hit this check mark so that it actually gives you, you know, rasterizes the image properly to the scale. Now we want to save it so we can use it in Team Builder. So we're going to go up here to File, then we're going to go to Export As, and boom, PNG. I know you guys have heard me talk about this a million times. A PNG file. That is the important thing here, right? Now, the thing I love about Photopea is that it's going to tell you right here how large the image should be, okay? 57.6 kilobytes is what it should be. It's 750 by 750 in pixels, and it is 250 DPI, or pixels per inch. Quality, we want to be at 100%. We're going to click Save, and boom, it's going to save it to my downloads folder. Now we've got one image that we're going to upload in Team Builder. Let's make another one, and this time we'll do it for text. Now, we can use the exact same document that we're in. We're literally just going to go and, you know, click on the little eyeball to get rid of the eagle. Now, if you'll notice, too, if you look up here in the project we're in, it's a .psd file, and what that means is that you can use it in Photoshop. That is the beauty of this. You can literally use this in Photoshop. Now, I'm going to show you how you can actually make, you know, typeface or text to go across either the chest, on your helmet, wherever you want it to be. You're going to click on this little T right here. This is the type tool. Going to go to a new layer here by going down here and selecting new layer, and then we'll call this, double click on this and call this text. Boom, there we go. And now we're just going to call this team the Eagles. It doesn't matter. We'll go to the type tool and click anywhere on here, and as you can see, we can start typing. So I'll type out Eagles. Now the font is in white right now, but I'm going to show you how we change all of that in just a second here. Now I'm going to resize this to make it bigger for us, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, and you're going to see these other tools over here. There's a lot of other tools over here, but the one we want right now is this character tool. It's the type tool that'll give us everything we need to know about this text. Now let's say hypothetically for some odd reason you don't see this over here. Another thing you could do is you can go to Window and go to Character, and if you click on that, that'll give you the same exact give you the same exact box. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to change the, we want to change the color of this font. So let's just go to, I don't know, I'll use black. Black will be fine. So we'll just pull this down, make it all black. And another thing we want to do is we're going to change the font that we're using. I'm going to show you a method that you can get any font that you, or within reason, any font that you might want to use. So I'm in a brand new tab right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and search collegiate fonts, right? And then you'll see there's going to be a bunch of different things that'll pop up on Google. We'll just go to this one right here, and we'll look through some different fonts and see if there's anything that we like. And then it's another thing you can do if you're on some of these sites where it says your text here, we can type in Eagles, right? And it's going to show us what that text will look like in the chosen font. So as I was going through, I actually found this font called Matoa, I believe is what it's called. And I like the way it looks. I like the way it looks a lot. This is what we're going to use for our font. So I'm just going to click download here. So now that we've got that downloaded, we're going to go now over to Photopea. And then you'll see here, if you go to load font, we're going to load the font. And then you're just going to navigate to the spot on your computer where it's downloaded. If you go, you'll see downloads is one place that it might be. You'll see I have that Matoa font right here. If I double click that, and then click on this, and then click upload, boom. Now it is going to be there. If we go here, go to find, Matoa demo, right there, boom. And we can use that font. Now, of course, I am going to make the rest of the characters lowercase, other than the E. We'll go A-G-L-E-S. And boom, there we go. I like the way that looks. That is how, and you can do that for any number of fonts. Anything that you have downloaded, you can go to load font, and boom, it will work in Photopea for the most part. For at least every font that I've tried so far has worked just fine. Now, one more thing I want to show you. If you go to this little double-sided arrow here, go to the top where the line is, or the bounding box. If you hold down Command or Control on a Windows computer, you start to move this around holding down Command, you will actually see that you can actually skew the text even more. Let's say you wanted something that was italicized, but it doesn't have an italicized option. You can actually use this to move it around as you see fit. So let's say I want it to be kind of like that. Let's say I like that, or maybe that's too far. Maybe we'll go back a little bit. That's good, I think. And then I can even go to the outside here until you see this rounded double-sided arrow, and then I can start to rotate it a little bit. And to be honest with you, I think that looks 100% perfect. I think that'll look good on a helmet. Now, if we go over here to where it says Eagles, if we double-click this, we can also get the layer styles for this. So let's say if we wanted to put a stroke around this, we could do the same thing as we did before with our eagle head. We can even go right here where it says gradient overlay and actually put a gradient fill. And you could do this with anything in Photopea. Anything that you, want to change the color of, you can do a regular color overlay on it if you have the layer selected. Let's say we do a color overlay. We choose the color, and let's say we wanted to do a blue or something like that. Or, anything you want to do, green, anything that you want will be here in the color overlays. Of course, we're going to stick with the black. Black is just fine for me for now. But with the gradient overlay, another thing that's cool is if you go into gradient, you can actually select different colors, right? So, like, let's say I wanted one part of it to be like an orange type of color, and then I wanted the top part to be a reddish. You're just going to double click on these so that you can actually go into the, into the color itself and edit the color, and boom, there you go. Now you can see our Eagles logo actually has a gradient going from orange to red, and you can change it to a radial gradient. As you can see, it will go from orange to red going outward from the middle. If you wanted an angled gradient, you could do that. Just play around with this stuff and see what you like the most. Reflected is basically going to make it orange in the middle and then red at the top and the bottom. You can change the angles. You could do so many things with this. It's just like really the sky's the limit. It really is just a matter of, your imagination at that point. Another thing you could do with this, let's say hypothetically you didn't want to add a stroke, but you wanted to add a glow. Let's say you wanted this to be glowing, and we take this and we pull this up so that it's 100% opacity, and we want to make it a color that we can see a little bit better. Let's give it like a purplish glow, right? Let's go to OK. Now we're gonna pull the spread up a little bit, and we're gonna pull the size up. Now, as you can see, instead of it being, let me give this like a different background. Now I've turned the background on just so you can see it a little bit better. Now you can see instead of it being a stroke, we have an actual glow on the outside of this. All of this can be done from the effects panel, and all you got to do is double click on the outside, this area here of any layer, and you will get this entire effects panel. So, again, like I said, man, it's all up to to you guys' imagination what you might want to do with this. It really is, you know, you could do anything with it. Another thing you can add is a drop shadow. So let's say hypothetically, if we had, you know, we wanted to do a color overlay and a drop shadow. Let's say if I wanted to make this, and I do this a lot with my thumbnails. Let's say I wanted to make this white, but I still wanted it to show up on a white background. The best way to do that is with a drop shadow. But for this, what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with the black with the white stroke, and I'm going to show you exactly how that looks on the helmet or on the jerseys. So just like before, we're going to go to File. We're going to go to Export As, and we're going to export it as a PNG. As you can see, the size is perfectly fine still. And then we are just going to hit, we'll name it Eagles Text, and boom, hit save, and that's going to save it to my downloads folder, as you can see. And then now we'll turn that off again because we're going to work with one more thing that I want to show you guys in a second here. Now, as I was saying earlier, you could literally use this pen tool to make your own logo from scratch, or you could use something as a reference. Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say if I bring in this image right here, and it's got this, you know, like this this longhorn head in the, you know, on the image, and let's say I like that shape. You can use the pen tool to literally make that shape, and I'm going to show you exactly how right now. Let's make a new layer down here. We got our own layer that we're working on, and we're going to go to the pen tool right here, and I'm going to speed this part up, but I'm going to show you the capabilities of this pen tool. So we're just going to start off at a spot, and of course, we can start going around this, and if we click and hold, again, like I said earlier, we can make these curved areas. Once we make one curved area, we go to another spot, click again, and then you can just keep going. Now, let's say you've clicked on an area and you've curved it, but you want the next part of your area to not be curved. You want it to be straight. All you have to do is hold down Control or Option on your keyboard until you see this little like, you know, open triangle type of, you know, symbol here. Now, once you click, you'll see that area where the curvature, you know, the handle for the curvature up here has gone away. Now, if I go and make another point here, instead of it curving all the way around, it just goes straight down. Now, of course, that can be very, very useful, you know, for depending on the situation that you're in, whatever you're trying to do with your pen tool. Now, that is useful in this situation because I do want it to be straight from here. I don't want it to curve the way it was. So we're just going to go now to this area right up here, and we're going to continue on making our curves as we see fit. And now, just using the pen tool, I have made an entire outline around the Longhorn's head. If I now go up here, it'll say Make right next to Path. We're going to either make a selection or a shape. We can go ahead and hit Make a Shape and choose the color. And again, we can choose that orange color if we so, you know, if that's what we like. Say if I do want to use that orange color and I hit OK, then boom, we have now made an entire shape on a brand new layer that we can now move around, resize as we see fit, change as we see fit, however we want to do it. We could even make a stroke around it and make the middle empty if we wanted to. There are, you know, a ton of things that we could do at this point with this shape, but I just wanted to show you that, you know, there's really nothing that you can't do with that pen tool. Now, let's say just to show you guys, we can start going in here, and let's say I want to add a stroke to this. Boom. Now we've got a stroke around it. It actually looks like the Texas Longhorns logo at this point. Make this stroke a little bit smaller here. So we've got that, and then we can also do the same thing like earlier. You know, we can go ahead and add let's say we wanted to add a gradient overlay the way that we did earlier. You know, we've got that, and we can even take the pen tool and start adding more things to this logo. You know, like this, you know, whoever made this decided to add like this little tuft of hair here. They decided to add, you know, some white accents to the horns. Anything that you want to do, though, from that point on, you can do. And I just wanted to show you, you know, the power of the pen tool and, you know, how much you can actually do with it. Now, this is another question that I got quite a bit, so I wanted to include this in the tutorial for you guys just to show you how you can actually make the University of Delaware or Michigan helmet, because they are both the same. But I wanted to show you how you do this. So there's two different types of logos that I'm going to include for you guys to download. You guys can find it in the description. I already have it here on this helmet for the home. I'm going to go to the away helmet to a brand new helmet and show you guys exactly how to do this, okay? So we're just going to get rid of the EA logo, and we are going to start new, and I'm just going to use the base color. I'm going to go back to that blue like I had before. This is more of like the University of Delaware blue. But of course, you know, you could use the Michigan blue. You could use any color you want with this. And using the methods that I showed you today in this tutorial, you can also change the wings to any color that you want to change them to. So first things first, we're going to go to add custom layer, and it's going to add these wings in here, or the wing on one side, but it's going to be on both sides mirrored. So you don't have to add two. It is perfectly fine. All you're going to want to do with this is literally just kind of scale it and move it until you've got something that looks about right, okay? And I'm going to show you how you add this right here, the back logo as well. And yeah, so we're just going to move this up. We got to scale it up as well. And another thing, I'm going to show you another method, another thing that you're going to want to do here. We're going to hit apply. This is not the, you know, the end of it, but I just want to show you. We're going to add a stripe down the middle. This is the trick. You're going to add a stripe down the middle, and you want to match this color. The best way to match this color is to go back to brand, and then when you're here, select from primary logo, and it'll choose that color, right? So we're good on that. So now we'll go back to the helmet, and as you can see, we've got this so far. We've got the stripe down the middle of the color that we want, and we've got the wings on both sides. So we're going to continue, though, resizing these wings until we've got it about right. So I'm going to say right about there looks about good to me, right? So then we're going to go over and we're going to add another custom layer, and we're going to add this back part, right? And as soon as we add it, we're going to put it to the back, and then same thing with this. We're just going to scale it up or down, and you're probably going to want to go up and then move it until it is right about where it needs to be. Now, of course, it's not going to be 100% perfect, but when you're in game, you're really not going to be able to tell the difference. It's going to look really, really good, to be honest with you. But I just wanted to include this for you guys really quick. As you can see, there's like a little yellow mark here. That's just from being, you know, that's just from the PNG file. I'm going to remove that and make sure that that's not there in the file that I give you guys to download. I'm going to make sure it's 100% perfect. And actually, I can do that right now. Yeah, see, there it is. Putting a black background behind it, and now I can see exactly where it's coming from. It is that little yellow mark right there. I've removed it, and boom, I can show you an updated version of how it looks without that now. Now we'll hit apply for the back, and then I'm going to go ahead and edit this one, and I'm going to change it to this one, and boom, as you can see, it removed that little yellow spot that was there. And again, I will make sure that that is the one that I upload for you guys so that you guys can download this, and it will look close to perfect. Or you could make it look like the University of Michigan helmet if you wanted to. If we wanted to do that, we could literally just go into the base color and turn down the brightness first of all. And actually, that looks almost perfect right there. But you also probably want to turn down the saturation slightly. That's almost perfect how the Michigan helmet looks. So if you guys wanted to recreate this in-game, this is how you would do that. And again, it might not be 100% perfect, but it will be very, very, very close. And now last but certainly not least, I wanted to show you guys, because a lot of people were asking me about, you know, how I made the custom stripes and stuff like that. I just want to show you a very basic example of what you can do. One of the things that I noticed, at least unless I'm missing it, that I didn't see as an option were like those pointed stripes that you get on a lot of NFL helmets. I'm going to show you exactly how you can get that. So again, we'll use the pen tool, and I'm going to hold shift so I can get a straight line down here. I'm going to make a point there, and I'm going to make a point here. And again, if I hold shift, it's going to give me a perfectly straight line. Now, if I go up here, I'm going to make another point, and then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to close it up. When you see that little circle, that means you are able to close it up. Now, I'm going to go here again, and I'm going to go to make shape. For the color picker, I just want this, I guess I want it to be black. I think black is fine, yeah. So we'll make it black, and boom, there you go. Now, I can even resize this. Let's say if I wanted to hold shift and make it a little thinner, I can do that. Another thing I can do if I want to change things about this, if I go to this direct select tool down here that you see here, direct select, right? We're going to choose the direct select. If I wanted to change where this point was, all I have to do is click on the point, and then boom, as you can see, I can actually center it to where it's supposed to be, and we know where it's supposed to be based on where that square is on the bounding box. So there you go. Now it's perfectly centered. Now if we go back to the regular selection tool, I can actually resize this as I see fit, and boom. Yeah, I think that it's fine like that. We will now bring it into Team Builder, and I'll show you how you can make this into a custom stripe. So again, we'll export it as a PNG. We'll just call this stripe. We can see that it's way small enough. It's only almost 10 kilobytes, so that's nothing. Yeah, and again, you can actually change the DPI in here as well. So let's say we wanted to make this 300. Boom, there you go. Now it's a little bit larger, but it actually is going to be a little bit better quality. You could do that right from the export box, which is really, really nice as well. It's going to make it larger, and it's going to make it a little bit better quality as well. Always make sure you have your quality to 100% also. Now, we're over in Team Builder. We've made a new team so that we can bring our logos over. We'll go right here, and we'll just call this, you know, I don't know, Delaware, and we'll call it the Eagles. Boom. And then we'll go to logos, and now we want to bring in our logos, right? So we'll go to my uploads. Boom. Confirm. And here are our 3 logos. We'll go to upload the first one. Now we got our first one, our primary. Let's go for our secondary with the Eagles text. Boom. So there we go. We've got all 3 of the logos that we made in Photopea here. I will leave this one as the primary logo for now. We'll just hit apply. And now we're going to go over to the uniforms. And then as you can see, boom, here we go. Let's see here. Now we go to helmet. We go to custom layers. And we're going to just remove the EA layer. And then we're going to make our own. There is our eagle. As you can see, we're going to resize it by scaling it up here. So actually, just by making the face mask a matte black and the back bumper a matte black, this actually looks pretty good so far. Now, we're going to go and add another custom layer, and we're going to add in this stripe. Now, the first thing we want to do is, while it's over, we'll just say we're going to keep it on the right side for now. While it's on the right side, we do want to scale it up. And I learned that actually from somebody who told me in the comments, shout out to whoever that was, that if you scale it up like this, you know, on one side or the other, it will keep its scale, and in that way you won't have, you know, you won't lose anything with the scale. Let's go like that, and then we will go to move it to the back. We'll go ahead and apply that. Another cool thing you could do is, let's say if we go in here and we edit this one, and we only want this to be on the right hand side. So now it's only on the right, and then now I'm going to show you, I'm sure you see where I'm going with this. We're going to add another custom layer, and then we're going to put this on this side. Of course, we want to flip it horizontally so that we, you know, we can see what it says. Scale it up, or, you know, however you want it to be. Go up with it. We'll go to the, it's actually to the left, but it looks like it's going to the right. And boom, there we go. Now, see, that's what we don't want. We only want this to be on the left-hand side. We're going to have to flip it horizontal again. But yeah, we want that on that side, this on this side. Scale it up a little bit more. Move it up so you can see it. And there you go. You've got your Eagle logo on one side. You've got the Eagles on the other side. And boom. Now let me show you how you can actually put that across the chest as well, or anywhere on the jersey you want it to be. So now we've got our gray jersey here. We got it just the way that we want it. And what I'll do is I will go down here to the, let's see here, custom layers. And instead of having the EA logo on the sleeve, or over on the, you know, the sleeves here, we can go ahead and put our eagle on the sleeves if we wanted to. And if you wanted them facing both the same direction, you could do that by just going like this. We will go ahead and say that we want this one on the right sleeve, and it'll scale it up, which actually looks kind of cool. We'll scale it back down a bit though, and we will apply that. And then we will put a separate one over here on the left sleeve. As you can see, it starts off with it on the chest, which doesn't look bad, but we were going to put this one on the left sleeve, and we are going to flip it horizontally and then scale it up. And there we go. Boom. So they match almost perfectly at that point. We hit apply. And then now we're going to add another custom layer. And then this time it's going to be this. And then we'll have this across the front of the chest here. As you can see, we'll just scale it up. And boom. There we go. And we can even rotate this a bit so that it looks more straight across the chest. And then we'll go in, apply that. And then we will move the numbers down. Do the same thing with the pants. Put the custom layer on there. Just change the EA logo to this little eagle here, and boom, we are good to go. I usually like making it like a matte. That way, it, you know, it just looks better to me. Hit apply, and then preview the uniform, and then there you go. You've got your Eagles uniform right there, all ready to go, just by stuff that we made in the free program called Photopea. Now I think it's about time we go ahead and bring these into College Football 25 and see how they look in game. Bingo. There we go. Boom, baby. That's always a welcome sight. Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, I mean, you know, this isn't, for something that we just threw together, it's not like it's perfect, but I'm all for this. Let's run a couple plays with this team and, you know, see how it looks. Now, you can see here, I picked the crowd color to be white, so now all of my accessories are white. I thought that that would look the best, to be honest. Yeah, I could have gone with black, but see how we do here. This touch pass is OP, bro. Woo! Got him. Got him. That was nice. That was really nice, to be honest. Yeah, bro, all things considered, this looks really good in game. I mean, I really like the way that this came out. Not bad. Really not bad. The spin on him. Boom. Yeah, I'm liking this, man. I really like it. I hope that you guys like it as well, and I hope, you know, that you guys were able to learn something. If there is more that you guys want to see or more that you'd like me to show you guys for how to make things in Photopea, let me know, and I will definitely do that. But again, man, I really, really hope that this was helpful to you guys and it, you know, at least give you guys a starting point. And, you know, again, any questions that you guys have, feel free to leave it in the comments for me. You know, I look at every comment and I try to answer every single question. We'll have a lot more content coming, including the Dynasty stuff that I've been working on non-stop for you guys. And, you know, more of this type of stuff, team builder type stuff for you guys to come as well. And, you know, hopefully it'll just continue to get better and better as time goes along. But so much love to everybody that made it through this video. Again, if this helped you at all, man, leave a like. And if you're new here, by all means, I would love to have you as part of the family, man. Anybody that made it to the end of the video, you guys are absolutely amazing. You guys are absolutely amazing anyway. What am I talking about, man? But so much love to everybody in this entire community. We got so much more coming, as I always say. Stick around for that. I'm going to jump back in the lab and get some more content for you guys, but I will catch you boys in the next one.